Then in hip hop, classic album reviews solely for the patrons. Most Def and Talib Kweli, Black Star. Our Black Star. Thank y'all for being patrons and being able to vote on this stuff, because we don't know, so we like the suspense. We like not knowing.
Lil Wayne almost won.
Yeah, Wayne almost won. Exactly. So 1%. Exactly. So we be watching. We like, oh, what we're gonna do? What we gonna do? So we enjoy it. I know y'all enjoy it. We enjoy it as well. So we appreciate doing this for y'all. But Black Star, man, I'll never forget the first time I heard Definition. I was at my grandma's house and I was watching MTV and the video came on and you hear that beat drop and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? Like this is me like really getting into hip hop. This is when I moved to Miami. You hear 1, 2, 3. I was like, okay, this is the hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And like that it kind of got me. I'm like, okay, this is dope. But I didn't know who they were, nothing like that. And I'm like, oh, whatever. Chilling with my homie Kerwin, because he's the one that really got me into, like he's like, yo, you ever heard Nas, you ever heard Jay, you ever heard Big, you know what I'm saying? So he put me on. So he put this on one time. We was chilling playing video games and stuff, and this came on. I'm like, oh shit, like I like this, like this is the album. And I just listened to it, but I never kind of went back and like this isn't what made me like a Talib fan. Like the first time I heard this was around 7th, 8th grade, but I didn't revisit it again until high school. And then that's kind of like when I really started getting my feet more wet into East Coast hip hop and stuff like that. And like this album, even back then and even now when I revisit it, like it's a really good album. But kind of before we started filming, Myke had the question like, was this really classic? And going back to it, I was thinking, I'm like, did this really influence other people? Did this really change anything? Like, because I felt that in 98, right? Like, there was already dope hip hop being produced. Like I don't know if
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was out. Big Pun's Capital Punishment was out.
As far as like mainstream cannabis.
Yeah, Can I Bust, which was which was a flop for him.
I felt like this album just just meshed with the time. Like it didn't necessarily stand out like that outside of the fact that it was
because you gotta think this was in a time in mainstream where you was kind of
puffy.
Like 97 on up, like 2001, it was like the Jiggy era, I guess if they were.
Yeah.
So for something like this to come out,
that's 2000.
This
is 98. This was a little bit before that.
98?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to. I'm not challenging Beezy motherfucker. This is me talking it out loud.
Yeah.
Was that really the Jiggy era yet?
Money, power, respect, the lot
bling bling,
right?
the bling bling era, like that's when you kind of started having that really kind of take over in the mainstream world. So Black Star was kind of like a fresh air as far as in the main, because they was in the mainstream.
They were.
I don't think they were in the mainstream.
That's where I will challenge you. It wasn't mainstream yet. This was on Raucus, and Raucus wasn't even a hot label really like that yet.
Videos on the same platforms you saw. You did. BG,
but that was anybody back then, if you really remember. In '98, you'd see fucking AC Alone videos on MTV. Yeah. But Black Star, oh yeah, he did. Book of Human Language came out that year.
Yeah.
But they weren't mainstream.
Of like underground and main, like that was when it kind of started with like 97, 98-ish.
No, I don't think Black Star was considered mainstream.
I don't think they were considered mainstream either. Even though they may have been on the same platform.
Maybe I'm wrong on that. I just see them when I saw them on
nothing like that. I'll tell you that much. They wouldn't blast on they wouldn't play on the radio next to like a Big Pun song.
Let me put it this way. In Mississippi, I didn't hear it on the radio.
I didn't hear it either.
I don't know what they were doing
up top. Black Star song and then hear I don't want to be a player. Like I would hear it on the same platform.
Detroit.
Yeah, so I considered it mainstream.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Just speaking from where I was at, I didn't hear it on the radio.
So they had Definition on the radio? And that's the only one?
Yep, and then the next track they played, well, girl, you look good once you back that thing. So it was like, so for me, I was like, okay, so this is kind of considered mainstream. You seen the videos on
that was a hip hop channel, I'm sure. Hip hop station. Hip hop station.
It was a hip hop station.
But not like I think the station we had in Meridian played just all the mainstream hip hop artists.
Talib was so on fire back then. Most Def is amazing. Yeah. But Talib was just so on fire back then.
On every Definition, when that beat switched up, and then Talib kicked that shit off, I was like, yo, who is that dude? Like, it was almost kind of, because they both was like, but it was moments where Talib was just fucking ripping that damn microphone.
I was small wonder like Vicky, niggas suck like hickeys. And I was like, man, who the fuck is shouting out Vicky from Small Wonder?
Kweli. Man.
And like my introduction to them was because I didn't even know they were a group. I heard them on Lyricist Lounge.
Oh yeah.
On the compilation, and I heard Most Def when he was on De La Soul, Stakes Is High. So I thought he was a solo artist. You know, I thought these guys was like solo artists, hearing them off of those compilations, Sound Bombing and everything. So I was just like, when I saw they was a group, I was like, oh, okay. Coming out party for High Tech. Because he killed a lot of production on this. I'm like, man.
That's what I'm saying. I remember hearing a lot about High Tech.
Yeah, High Tech was, that was his coming out party. That was my introduction to it. I think it was a lot of people introduction to High Tech at the time. Like Sean J. Period. Shout out to Sean J. Period. Like, it was refreshing, man. Like, it was so refreshing hearing that type of hip hop because it
wasn't that refreshing though, B. Like we just named everything else that was out at the time.
I don't think it was refreshing either.
It was
good. It was a great
refreshing
album.
Considering, like, if you look at everything else that was out, I guess mainstream wise, like.
But why are we comparing this to mainstream albums? This wasn't a mainstream album. This was on par with all of the underground shit that was Hyro was they just put out Third Eye Vision at the time. Dyna Spectrum was out at that time. I can't even think of anything else that was. No, Company Flow was before that. Like this wasn't really that different from underground rap.
You know what I think it is for me? I remember playing this like a lot in '99. Which I guess if we go back to the conversation we was having earlier, like really when the Shiny Suit era was popping, based on the discussion we had. So yeah, I can see like I freaking love this album. I think this album is fucking great.
So you do think it's a classic?
Yeah, absolutely. Hell
What
yeah.
makes it classic though?
By the definitions that we've established on this show, it probably don't meet that standard. But I just think, just overall, as a great fucking album and one that you can put on and play and that has that lasts throughout time. Absolutely, I think it's a classic album. Nah, this shit classic.
This shit. If you just said it doesn't meet any of the criteria that we talked about before.
Because he like, fuck y'all criteria.
Based on the definition that has been established on this show, that it has to influence or change the genre or something like that, then yeah, it'll be hard to meet that criteria. But I think in terms of like
how it launched their solo careers.
I mean, we're talking about two guys that they dropped their solo albums. They bypassed putting out their solo albums to do this.
They didn't have anything before this?
All they had was they had the tracks on Sound Bombing, and I think Most Def and Lyricist Lounge, of course. But that's it.
I don't think I realized that.
Nah, they didn't have any music.
That's kind of crazy then, yeah.
Because when I heard them on Lyricist Lounge, I was like, oh, when these guys, like, I'm solo wise, I'm like, man, when they dropping their albums and then they come together and form Black Star, I'm like, holy shit, these guys have some lyrics. That's Most Def from De La Soul, like, you know, he's on De La Soul shit. So I was thinking as a solo album that they was gonna make some work, and then they came in and come, like Ken said, they bring this. It's like crazy.
Why they didn't continue with this then?
Went solo. Most did his thing. Talib did his thing.
So did it flop?
Hell no. This album took off. Like, but again,
I didn't know if people was buying it. I remember seeing it on a CD rack and bypassing it. I remember bypassing it and getting something else when this came out.
I mean, but
this was a strictly, from what I remember, this was a strictly underground, blow your fucking top off classic album. Underground. Well,
it was definitely
no. I'm trying to think. Like
I said,
did it really impact? I know it definitely impacted the underground. I don't think it really moved far past that.
It moved past the underground.
I'm saying far past that.
But think about this too, right? You have these relatively unknown MCs come together, make this album, it take off on the underground, and then after that, they launched their own solo career. Most Def, Black on Both Sides, 99, right?
Yep, and then
Black on Both Sides, which took off.
And then Talib, Kweli, and High Tech did Reflection
Eternal.
Came out 2000.
And then he dropped Quality.
That's 2 years. But how does that make this album a classic album?
I just think having two guys that went on to become like well-known, mainstream artists from the underground, from combining and joining forces like that.
Talib, Kweli become a mainstream.
Eardrum, I think.
You talk about how fucking dope Respiration was, though.
Oh my
the drum
God.
with Common, like that was like Black Star at its peak on that. That's like easily my favorite track. The emotion and the beat the emotion and the rhymes and the lyrics coming in, like the way they just describe their city backdrop. I think that was a perfect like Brooklyn city backdrop from two Brooklyn MCs, because like you don't really, Biggie, you don't really hear like that good Brooklyn backdrop from MCs, but I think with Respiration they did such a good job of like putting that together. And then Common came in with his Chicago. I'm like, damn, High Tech with that. That whole track is just amazing to me. I love fucking Respiration because just everything about that shit is amazing, dude.
So do you think it's a classic?
I mean, I'm with Ken, like based off our criteria, it's like, it's
maybe we should mix
criteria. What they done is kind of
after
like
that game review. I was like, man, I don't know.
Maybe we should just start being like the YouTube kids. It's like, all right, it's great. It's
because
classic.
I'm like, Ken,
No, I'm being serious.
I thought you were serious.
Like, at this point,
yeah, because it's like, you think like, what did they do different that De La or Tribe didn't already do with this album? You know what I'm saying? So, but I agree with you. I agree with you though. Like, I could play this shit like.
I know. I'm just saying. When you mentioned Tribe,
I think by the criteria that we set, it meets everything outside of it being like super influential. It being a game changer. That's the only thing it doesn't hit for me.
Because when I hear this, it's like this is a baby of Low End Theory. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like I hear that this is a baby from 3 Feet High Rising. Like it's like, so it's as far as that, it ain't changed nothing. But I'm with you.
Brown Skin Lady.
Brown Skin Lady.
Man, this shit, man. I love this fucking album, man.
You know the only song I don't jam, and I know this is weird, it's probably fucking blasphemy, but like Children's Story. And you skip that one too?
Yeah,
I skip it almost every time.
I don't know why.
I don't either.
It's like, of course we know it's an OD to the Great Slick Rick, but it's just, I can't even explain why I'm like, and it's not whack, but it's just like,
it doesn't fit.
I think it's especially coming right off of redefinition.
That and it's not better than the original.
Huh?
That and it's just not better than
Snoop's
Snoop's flip was good.
Yeah,
right. This one was just like, Most Def didn't sound like he was interested rapping that. It didn't with me.
I would love
That's
to know the
I agree with Mike. That's the only track. Huh?
I would love to know the backstory behind that song, but at the time, I played it because I played that. I would play the whole album through, so I could sit through that one, but it didn't bother me as much. But going back and listening to it now, yeah.
So who got it? Like when you, because like I'm still conflicted about who I like more on this album.
That's a good question. Right?
But who got it? Most people say Mose too.
Yeah.
But
I came out such a Mose fan, man.
Me too.
Like, and then he dropped.
Oh, that's why
I did too.
I was like that until Black on Both Sides came. When Black on Both Sides came out, I was like,
wait, what?
Black on Both
Black on Both Sides came out.
Yeah, no, I know the album. What's the face mean? What is it?
Oh, I was just like, I think I might have to go with Mose. Just like,
I thought you were saying it was bad.
No.
Because you I was like, wait, what is going? Wait, why? What?
No. I was saying, like, I was debating myself, and then when Mos Def came out with Black on Both Sides, I was like,
it confirmed
the flag. Yeah, I was like, flag.
It almost
like if you're going by on this album only,
I got them neck and neck, to be honest. I got them neck and neck
because they both have moments.
They did. They both did.
I think that's what makes this album so great. Both of them had like iconic moments where you was like, okay, that's the dude. Oh no.
Yeah.
That's the dude.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's the dude. Like, even on that B-Boys would be B-Boys. It was they both was just restoration. They both was just, Mos Def was better on Definition, but I think on Redefinition,
right.
Talib was like, yo, this is my shit now.
I feel this album is underappreciated. It rarely comes. Does it come up?
See, I think that comes with those like who you hang out with type of situation.
Yeah, it is.
It does.
It didn't come up that much. It didn't come up much. Maybe a couple other people have mentioned it, but
same here, man.
It didn't come up that much.
And I definitely think,
I would say it's
but it's one of those things that I get though. Like when I saw people voting for it, I was like, I get it, but I don't remember it coming up like that with the people I was
the one that was fighting this album. I was like, man, y'all gotta listen. I was telling other people like, y'all gotta listen to this shit.
Y'all were hanging out with nerds. That's what it is. Y'all were hanging out with like cool people. Like you hang out with like nerdy rap dudes. This album came up daily.
Nah.
Like y'all you would hang out.
No. I'm talking about with me. No,
I know. I'm just saying like y'all were all like cool and hanging with your little cool friends and doing cool shit. But like the nerdy motherfuckers, like the real backpackers, this album was coming up on a regular basis. Like you could not go to like like a Lion's Den show back in like the 90s and have this shit come on, and you would look around the audience and everybody would be rapping the words.
Even now though, when you kind of look at like the conversations that take place in hip hop online, I understand that online it has its issues, and this is probably one where no one ever mentions this album that I see. It doesn't come up nearly enough. And I think it should. And I was shocked that it beat Lil Wayne Carter 3. I was on Instagram story, man. I was like, man, y'all came through. Patreon, y'all came through. I love Carter 3, but I really wanted to talk about this album because I think it just doesn't get enough. It just doesn't get enough praise.
But realistically, Myke, when people start talking classic albums and influential albums, like this doesn't get mentioned like that.
Around your friends, is what I'm saying. I think if you were hanging out with, if it was you, fucking NASA, and like a whole bunch of like nerdy, I can't think of anybody else.
Yeah.
A bunch of
General public though.
General public probably not,
right?
Because the general public, they probably only know these guys for their later work. Just like y'all were saying that Talib had the hot mainstream album, they probably know that. They probably know, probably not even Black on Both Sides. What was the one he had after that?
New Danger.
New Danger. They probably know that shit. So they're like, oh, we know what Black Star is. But they probably don't fuck with it because it's not the sound that they're used to.
I guess my point is that among the general public, it just doesn't receive enough love. So yeah.
Ain't it crazy though? Like thinking back to like this is like you wouldn't have heard this shit unless somebody had it or unless you had it.
I know.
Cause I remember, and that's the thing with me. Like only reason I heard it is because I used to go in the store and listen to it on the headphones. Cause I didn't buy it and I didn't know. I wasn't around anybody that had it. So that's the only time I really listened to it. That and then when I heard if it came on the radio. So I just think it's interesting. That's how we listened to music back then. We either had to buy that shit or somebody had to have it.
Or you could caught the video. Because I saw the video definition. I'm like, damn, that sounds like my man's from De La. Like it was just, I just connected everything. I'm like, damn, niggas got a group together. I'm like, oh shit. And then when I found out it was coming out, I went and grabbed that shit the first day.
Wasn't this like the kickoff for Raucous to really be that label?
That's when they were like,
they still had
Sound Bombing. They still had the Lyrics Lounge.
The album that really made like people be like,
oh shit, what's this? Yeah, you're right.
Who is this Raucous label?
Right.
You know what I mean?
It was.
Because after that was like High and Mighty and stuff like that. But like this was like, don't man, High and Mighty, Mr. Eon, fucking Mighty Mind. Shit, Home Field Advantage. Yeah, I think it was Home Field Advantage that came out in '98. Anyways, I feel like this was the album that really established Raucous.
Put them on the map.
Because Cold Flow didn't really do that except for like nerdy rap dudes. But like this did seep outside of the underground.
Right.
Yeah, it did. Absolutely.
Not far, but it did seep outside.
But enough.
So Myke, wouldn't that lend itself to make it like a classic album?
Maybe.
To put like a whole label on the map?
That's a good point.
Maybe, that's a great point.
You know what I'm saying? And
Shut up. You want to say that? He's a damn good point. He's like, I win.
Because there's so many artists that came through Ruckus, even like on a short term period. You know what I'm saying? Super big names. You know what I'm saying? So
Eminem.
Pharaoh.
For me, it's a classic because, and this is gonna sound like I'm just giving a pass, but it's at the time for me this album stood the test of time. Like when you put it back on now, you know what I'm saying? Like it still hits like it did back in '98. It doesn't. Not everything sounds dated. It launched two stellar individual careers. We just came, to the conclusion that it also really put Raucous on the map. I don't think it had the influence on a particular person or a genre or something like that. Maybe underground.
Maybe it did. Yeah, we just don't know.
We just don't. We don't know the impact. Like, I was
Little Brother. They always say they was a huge influence on them.
Who did?
So
that makes sense.
That does make sense. I can see that. I'm a big Little Brother fan. I could definitely see that.
And I think like you mentioned, I said in the can, I said it's just probably launched two great solo careers of Mos Def and Talib Kweli. But again, of course, back then we wasn't thinking of the word classic. It was another amazing ass album that came out, and we wasn't saying, oh shit, this is a classic. This is a classic. So, and I mean, based off our, I guess, used to be criteria. Myke said, "Fuck our criteria." Of it, there's a change.
Kid said, "Fuck the criteria."
Yeah, as far as the change shit, no. But is it just a amazing album? Yes, it is.
I definitely think it's a classic. I think for me, when I think about this album, and I think of where it fits in hip hop, I think if you're a real hip hop fan, I don't mean that in a disparaging way, but I think if you're a real hip hop fan, this is like one of those albums that should be required listening. Like, this is something that I should give somebody and say, you need to listen to this at least once. And that may be insulting to some of you, but I think there are just certain albums with thin genres that people should hear at least once.
I don't know, because I don't really think that these conversations are really that important when it comes to the grand scheme of things, but it's an interesting conversation to have. I don't know if I would consider this a classic album versus just an amazing hip hop album. And I mean, I appreciate and understand everybody's arguments, but I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to leave that to the crowd and see what y'all say. Like, especially like underground folks. Like, do y'all consider this a classic album? I don't know anymore. I don't know. So I think it's an amazing project, but I'm just gonna leave it at that for right now. Because I'm even starting to doubt my Raucus statement. I don't know if this did put Raucus like up there. So I mean, I don't know. We can cut it. I don't know.